Right now we're doing a series of talks on the 12 powers. The 12 powers is a big deal in unity. I'm going to read them off. We have faith, strength, wisdom, love, power, imagination, understanding, will, order, zeal, release, life. And unity teaches that these are all agencies within us now. These are agencies and abilities that exist within us now, and if we turn our attention on them and meditate on them, these are innate abilities we have that are latent, like programs that we can turn on, that can become accessible to us, that we have these at our disposal. And when Jane gave this invitation out for us to give talks on the 12 powers, I jumped at the idea of giving a talk on love. It's an honor to give a talk on love. I just want to love. Love is this broad, amorphous thing that so many things are encompassed in. In fact, when I look at the 12 powers, in my mind, love is the prime one. All these other powers, imagination, understanding, order, zeal, all kind of come from the idea of love. And so many beautiful words have been written about love. Love is principle. In Corinthians, it says that, love never fails. Love endures all things. Love is its own reason for existence. That love is this absolute thing. And love doesn't have expectations. Love doesn't take offense. Love doesn't get brokenhearted. But we do. It's interesting that, as much as birth is a part of love and life is a part of love, so is death, so is tragedy. At any given moment in human history, there's been no shortage of tragedy or uncertainty. Think about this for a moment, and I've thought about this a lot. Every person in this room right now was once born naked, innocent, precious. Everyone in this room right now was once a precious, tender little baby that just wanted to love and just wanted to be loved. An open stream of love. And in this life, we're born into this dichotomy of duality, of light and darkness, of fear and love, of ego and greed, of the misuse of divine will. This life will give us every excuse to cap our love. It's as though if love was a stream and we were the hose, every time we experience heartbreak or betrayal by a parent, by a spouse, by a government, we start to cap that love. It hurts. It hurts when we cap this love. When we grow up in this life, through society, through school, through competition, we get ideas about ourselves that are so far away from this original love we were born into. We begin to have, perhaps we've made mistakes. We haven't lived up to our own expectations. Perhaps we compromised our own integrity. And we have these concepts and ideas, or shame, real shame within us, or to look out at the tragedies in the world. And we cap that love we have within us. And it hurts. And you could say, safely, that all the addictions and distractions and comforts and behavioral malfunctions in the world have all come from this trying to cover up this pain and fear we have from capping our own love. I'm reading a book right now as part of my first ministerial class, and it's called The 5 Invitations. And it's about a Zen Buddhist who has pioneered hospice care. And I'm reading this book. I was reading it in the park. I'm sitting in the park. I'm on a blanket. I got in the river. People are playing Frisbee. And I'm reading this book for my class. And it's him telling the story of having this Zen hospice care. And people come from all walks of life, drug addicts, unfortunate people come into this hospice care. And through his practice of intentional listening, and patience, and teaching ideas of forgiveness and acceptance. People come with horrible traumas, horrible regrets and fears. They've been packing this misery around their entire lives. And in the last few days or the last few weeks of their lives, they practice accepting what it is and forgiving, sometimes forgiving abusers, and get to live the last days in a sense of joy and lightness, a chance to forgive. And I'm thinking, do we have to wait until then? Do we have to wait? We're the only ones limiting our ability to love. We're the only ones carrying that bag of rocks. We're the only ones holding on to those hurts and pains. We're choosing where to focus our attention. There's no shortage of tragedy right now in this world we could focus our attention on. But love is a choice. Love is a willful choice. I remember having a period of time. I've had a couple of dark nights of the soul. I've been through some shit in this life, and I remember, really, really hurting over that, hurting over my own pain and my own loss. Feeling that I've failed this life, and meditating on that. And I have gifts. There are things I'm gifted with, and sometimes I'll get messages and dreams, and I'll remember them. And I'll never forget this message I got in this dream, and I was because if you think about it, if we had never experienced love, would the rest of life hurt so bad? Would it? My big thing was why. I'm asking why. And the answer I got in the dream was darkness reminds us of light. Fear reminds us of love. Weakness reminds us of strength. Darkness reminds us of light. Fear reminds us of love. Weakness reminds us of strength. It is only because we come from light that darkness is unclear. It is only because we come from love that fear is uncomfortable. It's only because we're designed to be free that any degree of helplessness we find to be so disgusting. If suffering were our nature, it would feel good. It's only because we're designed for love that everything else hurts so bad. And the only thing that's keeping us from that forgiveness is us. Now, I invite you right now, just take a moment. Because right now, sitting in these chairs is still that precious, innocent little baby within you. Right now, sitting in these chairs is that desire to love. And in the practice with the Zen Buddhists, and in the practice we have in the 12 steps, we live in a time where spirituality is awakening. It's undeniable. We're having conversations that our parents and grandparents could not dream of having. This is life is calling us forth now. But imagine for a moment, if you could just hold yourself. Just think of yourself in complete acceptance, even for the things we feel ashamed of, even for the times that we've failed, to forgive the life that sometimes betrayed us, to accept it all for what it is and choose to love it anyway, but even more than that, to accept ourselves for who we are right now today and choose to love ourselves, choose to forgive ourselves, to allow that cap to come off of our heart, even for just a moment. It only starts with a moment of radically accepting ourselves for all of our imperfections, for all of our failures, and just choosing to love as a matter of principle. That's where the seed starts. Once we can build a little bit of love and grace for ourselves, it opens us up. And in all practical terms, completely pragmatically, let's look at this from a scientific perspective. If we're choosing to love ourselves, our immune system levels out, our brain calms down. We make better decisions. We do the right things more often, and it feels good to do the right things. But this is a practice. Oftentimes every morning when we wake up, our natural inclination is to love. It's like we want to just go, whoa. And as we're coming into consciousness, and as our ego is putting itself together for our day, and as we remember all the things that are wrong with our lives and all the regrets we have, our vibration goes from, and I have to do this again. And it hurts because we're designed to sing. We're designed to love. We're designed to grace. Let me look at my notes because I get lost a lot. So an open heart leads to a beautiful life. So we're talking about love. And I have to read this. It's my honor to read this. When I read this, I wept. It's probably the most brilliant thing written on love. And so let me give you a quick background for this. The preface of this story is there's a little sleepy fishing village. Simple village. This is pre-industrial. This is, pre-techno. We'll call it the Copper Age. And there's a ship that gets wrecked in a storm. And this guy gets washed ashore. He's the only living person from the boat. And this is an educated man, a deeply spiritual man. This is really an amazing man who just gets shipwrecked in this little fishing village. And so he's stuck there with no way home. And he decides just to help out. He helps heal the sick, teaches the children, helps the farmers with their crops, helps people build their buildings. He's called in to advocate. He's called in for his advice and counsel. And he just is of service to this fishing village. And then one day, this boat starts sailing into the harbor. And he looks up and he recognizes the sails on this boat. And he realizes this is his way home. He's leaving. And as he goes out to the dock, the people start gathering around. And they start asking him, this beautiful human being is leaving us, and we want, we're going to lose him. And it's their chance to ask questions, to glean whatever wisdom they can from this generous, beautiful human being before they leave. All right. So this is a treatise on love. Are you ready for this? Can you handle this? I don't know. And then Elamitra said, "Speak to us of love." And he raised his head and looked upon the people, and there fell a stillness upon them. And with a great voice he said, "When love beckons to you, follow him, though his ways are hard and steep. And when his wings enfold you, yield to him, though the sword hidden among his pinions may wound you. And when he speaks to you, believe in him, though his voice may shatter your dreams, as the north wind lays waste the garden. For even as love crowns you, so shall he crucify you. Even as he is for your growth, so is he for your pruning. Even as he ascends to your height and caresses your tenderest branches that quiver in the sun, so shall he descend to your roots and shake them in their clinging to the earth. Like sheaves of corn, he gathers you unto himself. He threshes you to make you naked. He sifts you to free you from your husks. He grinds you into whiteness. He kneads you until you are pliant. And then he assigns you to his sacred fire that you may become sacred bread for God's sacred feast. All these things love shall do unto you, that you may know the secrets of your own heart. and in that knowledge become a fragment of life's heart. But if in your fear you would seek only love's peace and only love's pleasure, then it's better that you cover over your nakedness and pass out of love's threshing floor into a seasonless world where you shall laugh, but not all your laughter, and you shall weep, but not all your tears. Love gives not but from itself, and takes not but from itself. Love possesses not, nor would it be possessed. For love is sufficient unto love. When you love, you should not say, God is in my heart, but rather, I am in the heart of God. And think not that you can direct the course of love, for if love finds you worthy, will direct your course. Love has no other desire but to fulfill itself. But if you love, and must needs have desires, let these be your desires. To melt like a running brook that sings its melody into the night. To know the pain of too much tenderness. To be wounded by your own understanding of love. And to bleed willfully and joyfully. To wake at dawn with a winged heart and give thanks for another day of loving. To rest at the noon hour and meditate on love's ecstasy. To return home at evening time with gratitude, and then to sleep with a prayer for the beloved in your heart and a song of praise upon your lips. We could live half a life. We could live half asleep. We could live chasing a bunch of things in this world that leave us empty. Or we could look within and choose to love ourselves. Choose to love that principle. Choose to forgive. Choose to accept. The results are an open heart. The results are laughing all of our laughter. Becoming agents of light in times of perceived fear. Channels of love, bastions of grace. What is really worthy in this life is to live with an open heart. The love's already there. It's the code in which we're written in. It's the fabric from which we're woven. It's already there. Our job is to find out whatever resentment, judgment, shame, or fear we have that keeps us from feeling our own innocence again. Our innocence is indestructible. It's eternal. But the choice of love to enact it in our lives begins with self-forgiveness and self-acceptance and realizing that we're already that. It's already here. And it's an honor to speak of this. It really is, to get up and speak of love. This is a series on the 12 powers. I've kind of diverted from the pattern on that, but yeah, for me, love's really hard to fit into a box. It's a precious, cherished, sacred thing. Christ said that what profit does a person have who may gain the whole world but loses their soul? And what is a soul without love? It's a synonymous thing. So I invite you to explore that. When we feel depressed, when we feel anxious, when we're judging ourselves, can we cut ourselves some slack? Can we grant ourselves some grace? Because I tell you most truly, just the beginning of that builds a wave and an orb and a space within us where we have a peace that is not for sale and is not subject to the discretion of the outside influences of this world. And so it is.